game jams. Everyone seems to really like doing them, and so I figured I could try one. It all started on a Friday at 6 in the morning, when I got up and only had 10 minutes to think about the jam before work. The theme was announced to be malfunction, with a special item that had to be included, which was ice cream. I can work with this. My initial ideas were robots malfunctioning and you fight them with ice cream, a ship's freezer stopping and you have to race to the end to save the ice cream, and a game where the loading screen fails and you have to jump around the error text. I decided to go with the parkour type one. After a long day of work and socializing, I began my project around 8 p.m. in Godot. The idea had evolved throughout the day to become a game about bouncing around to collect ice cream. The first thing I made was a humble square that moved to where you click, and evidently got stuck on an invisible box. Next was adding platforms to hit and jump from, and a marker for where you had clicked. Now, I wanted the player to go until they hit a wall, because right now it was too easy to move. I know the player looks weird here because they start to move, but the current system worked by sliding the character towards the point you clicked until you reached it. And because I, the player, rarely ever clicked near the edge of the screen, the character stopped in the middle. The solution? Algebra. By calculating the slope between the player and where they had clicked, M, I could extend the direction they were moving until the point the player is trying to reach is outside the play space. I would also have to solve for B by plugging in a specific point with the slope I found. Then, by solving the equation and plugging in an out-of-bounds x value, 1930 in my case because the full screen is 1920 pixels and the player is moving left. -10 would be used if the player is moving right, which is decided by seeing if the initial targeted x value is greater or smaller than the current x value. I can get a target that the player will never reach and thus be forced to hit a wall to stop. Once that was figured out, it was time to add the ice cream. Many thanks to Patas Panaki for making these ice cream sprites available for public use. Definitely check out more of their work. I just made them fall randomly from the ceiling, then made them collectible. But I also added a rising ice cream wall, difficulty scaling as time goes on, a timer to allow the player to win, and UI for restarting. I feel like the ability to win is especially key to giving Game Jam players a completed experience. The last main thing I added to the game was an opening cutscene, which took way longer than it should have, and a tutorial, which many people liked, as well as an original tune as background music during the main game. I was up until 3 in the morning going into Sunday, the last day of the jam, doing all of that. And I only minorly tweaked the difficulty and added an infinite mode, which just took away the timer and scaled upwards forever, the next day. Then it finally came time to submit. And then after a failed attempt to export for the web, I switched to just exporting for Windows as an executable. However, the game didn't display onto other computers properly doing that either. With only 20 minutes to try and fix it, I rapidly tried to change the settings to get the game window to display properly. However, time ran out, and I had to submit a messed up version. Thankfully, because this is a small jam, they let me submit a corrected version once I figured out how to easily resize the window. I ended up getting 34th out of 110 entries. It was the art that dragged me down. And 7th in fun factor, which I think is a win. Thank you for watching this journey. I had tons of fun and learned so many things, and I would highly recommend trying a game jam yourself.